All right. So there was a poll done to see what video that we're going to watch. Oh, and guess what, guys? We're not going to watch it. We're doing this one. I don't care. We're doing the YouTube Shorts video. I'm curious about it. Genuinely curious about this YouTube Shorts video. I need a break from Red Pill, at least for this video. This is actually interesting looking. It's the Game Theorist video, Game Theory, why everyone hates YouTube Shorts, and you should too. Because I don't hate YouTube Shorts. I actually like YouTube Shorts. I think it's a solid platform. It's a solid Shorts platform. It pays really well compared to every of the other Shorts platforms. Instagram is the worst, roughly $15 per million. TikTok has removed by the end of this year, so like a week, they are removing their old monetization platform where they used to pay roughly $30 per million views, and it is now transitioning over to a medium medium form monetization, which is anything over a minute will get monetized, which seems to pay better. I'm not in it. I'll let you know if I do get in it how much it pays. Shorts pays like $15 per million. Or I'm sorry, $150 per million, like a ton more money. Okay, I like that. The only problem with YouTube Shorts is the biggest problem is the announcements. It'll alert it to your fans, but you could turn that off because you don't want to do that. Or you could just make a different channel for Shorts. You're already having a different TikTok if you're using it to plug your, you know what I mean? So it's like, I really don't think it's that bad. Let's see what the problem is, though. I think it's good. It works really well, and it tries to pay its creators. So
are gonna kill YouTube Shorts are gonna kill YouTube.
Disagree.
And your favorite creators are likely going down with it.
I disagree.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, where it's the end of the year, and that means one thing and one thing only. Our annual review of the digital video landscape. A state of the union, if you will. You get what I did there? I made the U of union into the U of YouTube. No. Hey, please don't click off. I'm so sorry. I get it. The pun was really bad, but trust me, the stuff that we're going to be talking about today is too important to let a dumb joke like that just scare you off. You see, it's been a weird year on YouTube, my friends. To casual viewers, it probably seemed like business as usual, but under the hood, this year has been the single biggest year of upheaval the platform's ever seen. And it all has its roots in one word: Shorts. Shorts officially launched on YouTube at the end.
Another thing that's good about Shorts is that you can link your short to your full video. So if you make a video, regardless of the length, you can just like make the short and then you can put the short up and then attach it so people can very easily go, oh, I like this, and then click and watch the full video. So
of 2020, and after a lukewarm intro on the platform, YouTube decided to just outright pay people to make them. No one really took them seriously still, which is why this year, in 2023, YouTube started pushing them hard. Now, when you open your homepage on desktop, you see Shorts. When you open your phone to pick a video, you've just
sometimes it'll switch you over to Shorts. It can be a frustrating experience, sure.
Just randomly showed up in the Shorts feed. Sometimes when you're watching YouTube on the TV and it's like, here, would you like to watch a short on a TV with a totally different aspect ratio? Sure, why not? To creators, this surge has had some devastating ripple effects. When you go to the homepage and suddenly 50% of the screen is dominated by short-form video, it means your long-form content gets shared less.
Who cares? I don't think it's that big of a deal, because if you go onto YouTube and you're like, oh man, what should I watch? I didn't want to watch these top 4 things. I was apparently watching an Fortnite dance. I don't want to watch these top 10. Oh, Shorts? No thanks. Oh, look, here's another different ones. Oh, here's some more. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not really that big of a deal. You just scroll. Oh, I don't want to watch. You might actually also want to watch this. You know, I don't think I don't think it's a big deal. Some of this comes off as, hey guys, there are changes coming. I'm uncomfortable with change. Why? You know what I mean? Like, change isn't necessarily bad. It's just different. It's not a big deal.
At the top of the year, YouTube basically mandated that if you want your channel to continue to be successful, Shorts have to be part of your video strategy.
No, they didn't.
That's kind of an issue.
No, they didn't. Not for nothing. If you want your channel to be successful, you need Shorts. Because that's the way that the landscape is going for people's mentalities. TikTok still does and used to dominate this platform. I started putting up short form content because of how powerful TikTok is at getting small tidbits of you out to people. My entire career started on TikTok when I used to have a larger following, right? That's how it starts, and it's been profoundly positive for me continuing it. That's it. This is just where we're going. You have like it's an advertisement platform. That's it. So now, like, yeah, they want you to make shorts because they want to be competitive with TikTok. Of course they do. But at the same time, TikTok wants to be competitive with YouTube, which is why that you can now post up to 10-minute long videos, and they encourage it by only monetizing videos a minute and longer. So, like, this is just, there's an interesting thing that I feel like happens where people will say the algorithm has shifted and this has happened. And there might be a level of truth to that, when the reality is that people's way that they consume content has shifted and YouTube's trying to keep up. As a creator, you should be happy YouTube's trying to reorient their platform to keep more eyes onto the platform. Because let's say you're somebody who for some reason watches YouTube on this stinky little thing. And like, let's say you watch YouTube on here and this is how you engage with shorts. Well, YouTube videos are still on there. So shorts viewers are watching these videos. Let's say you're a YouTuber that started to do shorts because it's where the people are at now and they're fucking sitting on their toilet taking a shit and they're scrolling through YouTube. You can link your YouTube video to your short and people might go, oh, let me click on that. If anything, YouTube becoming a more competitive shorts platform is only good for the long form content video creators. It doesn't have a negative. It's then evolving with the atmosphere. Like you have to, like, that's just how it's going. Like if you need to adjust to that. Start making shorts content. If you feel like it might kill your main channel, make a secondary channel. You won't be able to link them directly there, but it'll keep you into the atmosphere. You know what I mean? Like, that's for you to figure out how to do it. But I mean, like, I really don't understand the hate for shorts. It just feels like I've been on the platform for a long time and I don't want to change myself. Not that big of a deal.
When it's a format that takes time and effort to make, but basically earns you $0. I cannot
disagree. Hard disagree. They pay insanely more than every single other platform by the fucking long shot. It's insane. Barely pays comparatively. They give you 45% of the revenue that shorts make. They give you 55 on videos, but they give you 45 on shorts. They give you a percentage of the ad revenue. 45%. It is it is 10 times the amount more money than Instagram Reels pays. It's 5 times more than the traditional old TikTok monetization thing pays. And I'm pretty sure, because I was talking to somebody about how much money they made on like a longer form video. It was like 8 minutes and they made, I forget how much money. I think it was a 1.2 million video made $800. I'm pretty sure you get paid more. If you made an 8-minute video on YouTube and it got 1.2 million views, I'm pretty sure you get paid more than $800. So you make exponentially more just on YouTube. YouTube's whole entire atmosphere is we want to pay the creators as a way to get you to make videos on our fucking platform. Whereas TikTok and Instagram, they don't give a shit about that. What the fuck are you talking about? We don't get paid enough. Oh, okay, but based on what? And you get advertisers. So get fucking advertisers if you're a big content creator. This is a palatable content machine. Game Theory isn't fucking Papa Gut sitting here. You know, they have more views, but they also are more palatable. Advertisers will follow on to that. Just put an advertisement into your short. Fucking Barstool Sports does that on some of their stuff. It's smart.
I cannot overstate how these changes are currently devastating the mid-sized channels of YouTube. The number of creators that I personally know who've repeatedly said how scary this year's been for them because of these unexplained view drops.
Adjust yourself.
Dedicated their lives to build small...
Are the view drops because of the algorithm or because other creators are going, we need to shift and we need to evolve? I've almost doubled my easy workload, by the way, doing shorts again. It takes time. You know what I mean? It's fun. It is what it is. Just fucking grow up. You're a content creator for YouTube. I used to clean piss, shit, vomit, and fucking period blood off of buses. You think I care about a little more work doing here? Do a little more work. I understand I have lower effort content. Put a little more work into your shit. Or don't. And take the first minute of your video, put it into shorts format, make it a YouTube short, release it, connect it to your main video, and don't put the alert on that it's going out there so it just goes through the algorithm and doesn't get announcements to bother your fans. And people who might watch that and go, I liked this, I will click on the button to watch the full video. There's so many strategies that you can engage in. It's time to grow up.
All businesses around making long-form videos, but are now struggling to get by as their views disappear overnight. Channels who don't have the money or resources to just work in a couple of extra spare videos so that their views return to normal. That right?
No. That's just stop. Bullshit excuse. I just don't buy it. Oh, I don't have enough time. Then don't be a creator. Make the time to do the thing. You need to do this. This isn't like a YouTube thing. This is an everything thing. The writing's been on the wall for the past 3 or 4 fucking years that YouTube or TikTok is dominating the industry when it comes to short form content. And now they're encroaching onto medium form content. If TikTok doesn't go into the short form content, then TikTok overtakes them. And now you're going to go and you're going to have to be a creator for TikTok, which pays exponentially less for their longer form content. I don't have the time to do this. Make the time. You have to, because that's where we're going. Go get a regular job.
Right there, it's a big issue. But while mid-sized creators are feeling it now, I suspect that all creators will likely be suffering similar consequences in another year or two. And that is what I want to talk about today. Now, normally this would be a dramatic Matt chat on the couch, but I've already got that one penciled in for January. So it's just PNG tuber MatPat today talking about the bigger issue here. Because I don't think people have truly thought through the long-term effects of this change. The forceful push into short-form content affects you as an audience, it affects the platform of YouTube, and honestly, it affects how all of us are engaging with videos, whether or not we realize it. And ironically enough, despite shorts exposing you to more creators than ever before, if things continue going down this path, I suspect that they'll be the thing that kills off the entire idea of being a creator in the first place.
No. Just no. There is still a very high demand for longer form content. Atmospheres like this shift constantly, and again, it's always TikTok is doing this. It is the way that people are consuming content is shifting. Attention spans are shifting. If you want to capture somebody in your audience, you need to shift and you need to change a little bit. You need to constantly remind people you exist. That is fundamentally what shorts content is. Constantly reminding people that you exist. But the way that they frame videos like this are like the algorithm shifting. Your complaint, like it's a conspiracy theory against them. That's what happens. It's not like, oh, this is pissing me off, I gotta change some shit up. That's fair. It's the algorithm has changed. YouTube's shoving this down our throats. Because in that narrative, YouTube is the problem. But YouTube is the solution, trying to adjust to a new industry of short form content, dominating the longer form content. Okay? Nobody sits down on the toilet and takes a shit and watches YouTube anymore. You're on your phone when you're shitting. And when you're on your computer doing homework, playing video games, you're watching content in a different way. You're consuming long-form content. Figure out a way so that when people go and take their fat shits, that they're like, oh, I forgot about Shrimp Towel. I'm going to go watch my favorite creator, Shrimp Towel. Let me go fucking consume Shrimp Towel's content. He made a funny short.
So let's just start by pulling off the band-aid early, friends. Shorts aren't just there to be another super fun creative outlet for channels or a fun new experience for the viewer. They are here to compete with TikTok.
Yes.
Full stop, end of sentence. Back around 2015, YouTube was measuring video success based on watch minutes, which meant the longer your video was, the more likely you were to rack up minutes on the platform and win big. People who didn't want to make long video essays counting animatronic toes or listing every editing mistake in Suicide Squad, they lost out in this sort of system. Sketch comedy and animation both suffered hard in this era because,
I mean, engagement still is a factor on the algorithm.
well, neither of them are particularly long-form genres. They're expensive to make and they're difficult to script for 10, 20-minute periods. But you know who else was suffering during this era? The viewer. People who only had a few minutes at a time to watch videos between classes at school or during breaks at work. They couldn't do that using YouTube. It's not like you're sending your bestie a 25-minute video for the lols, which meant that there was a very clear gap in the marketplace. People wanted short videos and needed a place to watch them. Luckily, there was one platform ready to fill that need, Vine. But when Vine just completely dropped the ball with a series of repeated self-imposed errors, TikTok was there to pick up that ball, run with it, and then just score all the touchdowns. TikTok landed in the US in 2016 and became a social video juggernaut by 2019. It understood that people wanted short, cheap, easy-to-produce content that was shareable. You know, the stuff that made YouTube so popular back in the mid-2000s.
Well, people just want entertaining content. Like the production quality of content, there's a diminishing returns on production quality of content. Right, like different people want different things. Like I would get millions of views just making an edgy, stupid joke or like corny joke that was based off of something. That's all it really boils down to. Like it's good to have higher production quality, but I think that some people also get caught in almost like a loop of creating higher, like of having too high of an expectation for what you're doing. Not that it's a bad thing to do. I'm just saying. The cheapness, who cares? Like, whatever.
It's almost like history's repeating itself. Anyway, by 2020, TikTok had all the cool songs with no copyright striking. It had all the view numbers that looked way bigger than YouTube. And most importantly of all, they had the viewers between the ages of 13 and 18. The most important...
The perfect age to groom. Sorry.
demographic on the planet for any social media platform. And you see, it's that last point that has YouTube so scared. If you're a viewer between the ages of 13 and 18, congratulations, you have the world's largest...
Congratulations, you're fucked, because what you're consuming is TikTok, and it's ruining your ability to engage with stuff. Your attention span is diminished drastically, and that's where the world's shifting. The part of the goal is for YouTube to get you over to YouTube from TikTok as a young person to keep you on that platform.
Just corporations all fighting for your attention. Why? Well, I want you to think back to some of the things that you were a big fan of in your life. The biggest movies, the best music artists, your favorite anime. When did you first become a fan of those? The truth is that you can become a fan of anything, anytime. I'm a huge believer in that. But statistically speaking, many of our most memorable fandoms emerge when we're teenagers.
Yeah, right, and they play off of nostalgia, I understand.
Just because we're all so young and impressionable at that age either, there's actually a lot more science to it. There's a whole field of study dedicated to adolescent identity, so I'm just gonna be grazing the tip of the iceberg here, but the TLDR of all of it is that adolescent brains between 13 and 18 are working real hard at crafting a persona for themselves out of the vast universe of things they can be. It's really hard work, actually, which is why when we're teenagers, our brains compel us to do really cringy things, like going through weird style phases, deciding that we hate people overnight, filming TikTok dances in public...
Don't worry, I still do that.
...places. These people just haven't figured themselves out yet, okay? One way for the brain to fast-track this identity building is to attach to a celebrity that you admire, or a band that you love listening to, a show you love watching, or a creator online that you like. Instead of having to build your identity all by yourself, you can start with a character who already exists. And then
people have done this forever. This is how things always have worked. I don't know if you're specifically contributing this to TikTok, or maybe I'm mishearing it, but this is just something people have always done, whether it's through books or any alternative media, through people, through church, through parents. People have always will copy parts of their identity, and then as they grow older, they'll take other identities that they like and they'll add it to their own and then become like their own person. I don't know if I'm misinterpreting this as like this is exclusively a TikTok thing, or maybe I'm just a silly little goose, you know?
Then use them as a kind of scaffolding for yourself. Now, it is normal to have fandoms all throughout your life, but the ones we participate in as tweens and teens become wound up in our actual real-world personalities, and not just for a little while either. A healthy fandom lasts on average about 9 years. So if you become a fan of something at the age of 14, on average, you could be a fan of that thing until you're 23. This is exactly the huge and important time of your life that all social platforms and entertainment franchises...
That's crazy, because I started gooning at 14.
...want to tap into, because if they get you early, they get you for a huge bulk of your prime spending years. Doesn't it feel great to know that your life is just...
Yeah, those are your prime spending years when you don't have any money.
reduced to a series of dollar signs? Regardless, a decade of loyalty, that right there is a lifetime in the world of online video, hence why this battle is so heated. Which brings us back to shorts. YouTube decided over the last couple years that they needed to bring the magic of TikTok to YouTube, and they've made it very clear to audiences and creators alike that this is the thing that you need to be engaging with.
Yeah. Yes, but it's not because they want you to, because it's like, let's say conspiracy. It's because you have to keep up with the competitive market. Another thing that's beneficial when it comes to engaging on things like TikTok or Reels or, you know, YouTube Shorts is the way you consume. When you open up your YouTube, you're flooded with a lot of different information and individual choices that are somewhat curated to what you may want to see. Of course, you know, you might want to look at the Rob and Dan channel, the channel that I have with my wife. You might want to look at the Rob and Dan channel. When it comes to the YouTube Shorts on the homepage, it's the same thing. Oh, I might want to watch this. Oh. Or you might be watching something, but okay. Or let's say you do it on your phone. Well, instead, you're going to be shown something like this, a random video, you watch it, you go to the next one. You watch that, you go to the next one. You watch that, you go to the next one, right? You kill other people's algorithms while you watch your own video, right? And this is something that I think that people are almost rebounding from in the past. We have so much choice nowadays that choices become overwhelming. So when you go onto TikTok, you're brainlessly fed a video that they think you'll like, and if you don't like it, you just move on and there's the next one. You have significantly less choice in what you're immediately viewing, and it's in a short-term capacity, so you're more likely to view it. But there's something to that, because nowadays there's Netflix, there's Hulu, there's this and that. I'll scroll through Netflix for half an hour to find something to watch. Back in the day, you turned on a channel, you had like 10 choices, and you just sucked a fart, and you just put whatever shit up that you were going to watch. I think that people are kind of rebounding from the problem with too many choices, and they're like, oh, I kind of like not having that many choices, or at least immediate choices. I have the choice to scroll to a new video, but I don't have a choice of what that video specifically is going to be, but hopefully the algorithm will be more curated to me. So I think that that's another thing, and the traditional YouTube algorithm can never really capture that on its long form content in the same way, which is why they're doing this with short form content. I like it. The more different types of content that they can successfully integrate onto YouTube, the more of an audience there is available to YouTube. I guarantee if I scroll through here long enough, I would hope that it would happen earlier than later. Probably isn't, just because I want it to happen. You'll see that there's a little link below here that'll link you to a specific video that you might want to watch the full video of, right? And that keeps you on the platform. What the fuck is this? Okay, I don't even... That's kind of the point. This is the point that I'm making.
But is that so bad? I mean, I've found a lot of shorts that I like this year. I think a lot of them are really fun. And if I'm being completely honest about making them, doing something that's shorter than a theory feels like a lot less pressure. It allows me to loosen up a bit. It's given us the chance to explore lots of topics that I wouldn't get to do otherwise. So what is the big issue? Well, outside of the fact that they lose money, don't translate to long-term viewers, very expensive long-form content.
They might translate to long. This is the thing.
Big issue. Well, outside of the fact that they lose money.
They lose money? In what way? I mean, I would like to see the statistic on that. I mean, is that like an accusation cost? Because they pay you a percentage of your short, so I don't know how they lose money. I would really need to know how did they lose money? What? I feel like, hold on, I have to look into this, because I don't think they lose money. Wait. No, does YouTube lose YouTube? I don't think you lose money. I think there's nothing here that talks about the YouTube losing money. If I had to guess, because they pay you 45% of the ad revenue. If I had to guess, what MatPat is doing here is saying, because there are fewer viewers in the long-term content, you're hypothetically losing that long-term viewer money because they're focusing on short term. I don't think that there's anybody talking about losing money. And if there is a loss in money, it's just because they're creating the new landscape and infrastructure. Again, you're getting 45% of the ad revenue onto it. It amounts to anything, massively more money than any other platform is going to pay you for short form content. That's just a fact.
They don't translate
to long-term views. This is a misleading thing, I would say. There are always going to be people who will prefer certain types of content. It may not translate directly one-to-one, but that doesn't mean it won't translate. For the people who are malleable enough or consume multiple types of content, it throws you into the atmosphere of saying, maybe I'll consume this person's content in a long-form capacity. But when you make short-form content, keep in mind that while it is a plug for your long-form, if that's where you're going, you have to also make it its own independent content, because that's just where people are at. So if you try to push too hard to get people to go to your full, we'll say, long-form content channel, they're going to get pushed away and they're going to move somewhere else. You have to hit a solid, steady balance between the two. This is just where we're going. The idea that it doesn't translate it's irrelevant, because sometimes it just won't, because that's just how things are. People are also lazy. If you think that they're like on TikTok and they're going to go, oh, I got to go right to YouTube right now, it's not going to happen as much. But again, if you're already on YouTube, there's a higher chance that it'll translate. I wonder what it won't translate. Excuse me. I wonder what these statistics are based off of. Are they based off of people not going from TikTok to YouTube? Are they based off not going from YouTube to a long form, short form YouTube to long form YouTube? I wonder what it's based off of, because it seems very vague to me.
To long-term viewers, very expensive long-form content, and
it buries burying expensive long-form content. I don't care about that. This is just the way it's shifting. If you make 4-hour long videos and people are less inclined to watch those because people want to watch short-term stuff, that's just the way the landscape is going because of the consumer. Nothing to do with TikTok. YouTube, I mean. YouTube would much prefer you watch a 4-hour long video because you've already bought in. It's basically the same concept of like an acquisition or whatever cost of any type of a business. A business is willing to spend more money to get you to get in the door in the hopes that you'll stay longer. That's why there's so many like silly little memberships where you can get big deals when you go to Domino's and you eat a whole pizza for breakfast and 8 wings, and who does that? Or you come through the gym, the door, and guess what, guys? It's $0 down, and it's only so much money per month. Or we'll give you 50% off your first year of Verizon or something, because they want to get you in the door. Once you're in the door, they got you. They got you for 4 hours straight. They want that, because if they want you to consume 4 hours of shorts, they have to provide you with theoretically thousands of videos in that 4 hour span. We're going to watch a minute each. Not going to happen. You generally have to be a little more engaged on your phone to go through short form content too. A lot of people, like if you might be watching this right now, whether it's on the stream or as a regular video, you're probably sitting there doing something else. Maybe you're doing homework. Maybe you're doing actual work. Maybe you're jacking off to my voice. I don't fucking know. All right. I'll release a whimpering audio. I'm just... Right? That's not their intention, isn't to bury long form content. Their intention is to shift with the atmosphere, because if they don't, YouTube dies and so does your career. And I like YouTube because so far I feel like there are their problems. Again, I have 4 times this year. 4. Well, this isn't not a joke. I got 4 false video removals of violating community guidelines. And I know they're false because they were reversed. And it took them almost a week for most of them. It was frustrating because they're very slow. But still, they pay 55% of ad revenue for videos, 45% on shorts, and they're just generally better. So, just to be clear, okay? Like, I'm just saying, I wouldn't blame YouTube that much.
And feel like a pay-to-win model on YouTube. It's
always been a pay-to-win model. What does that even mean?
That they lose money, don't translate to long-term viewers, very expensive long-form content, and feel like a pay-to-win model on YouTube.
The fuck does feel like a pay-to-win model on YouTube? What does that even mean?
It's that having them on YouTube changes the platform in a way that doesn't help viewers, making...
Yes. What do you mean? That doesn't hurt viewers. You could just skip through it if you don't want to watch it.
YouTube more like TikTok? It isn't just about changing the length of the videos. TikTok and YouTube function totally differently. And when you try to turn one into the other, there's going to be a lot that happens.
They're both trying to turn each other's into competitives of the other. That's why TikTok has changed the way that they're operating too.
Under the surface. Let me just take you through what I mean. At its core, YouTube has always been a search engine. Historically, the second largest search engine in the world behind Google itself. Because of this,
and TikTok has put in a significant amount of effort to implement like a search engine type feature for themselves as well. Because they want you to do that too. Like they're trying.
Making videos on things that people search for, like movies, games, food, it's always worked fairly well. It's also worked well because you can search for specific creators that you're interested in. You go to their channel page and find a whole bunch of videos that you get from the same channel. But notice how I said that you, the viewer, have to do something to watch the videos. You have to open YouTube, obviously, but you also have to, at minimum, choose a video from the homepage. If you're not going to do that, well, now you have to search, which means that you have to know what you're searching for. You get a page of results, you scroll until you find the one that you want, you click it, and then you hope that you like it. After you watch that one video, you choose the next one from a suggested video feed, or maybe you opt for the autoplay video, but let's be honest, are you really gonna sit through yet another Skillshare promo at the end of that video? YouTube is an active watch experience. Viewers are constantly choosing what to watch. And to be honest, it's actually a lot of work on you guys. Now compare that to TikTok.
Is it? I thought like you put a video on and you stop. Are you really actively trying? I guess. Okay.
What do you do on TikTok? You open the app. That's it. For the vast majority of people, the activity actually stops there. The most you gotta do
from this point before. That's where things are going. Yes.
That point is a little thumb flick when you want to move on to the next video. A video that the TikTok algorithm has pre-selected for you.
Yeah, in the same way as the videos that the YouTube algorithm has selected for you as the choice of what they think you might want to see. There's just less work involved. Exactly why YouTube would implement this change as well to compete.
This is a passive watch experience. TikTok isn't designed for you to choose what to watch. It's designed for you to either like or not like what you're being served up. You can choose to search on TikTok, but it's not a super easy experience and it just sends you to another passive scroll. So what we're dealing with is an active platform of YouTube versus a passive platform of TikTok. What happens when YouTube now introduces Shorts, a passive watch experience, into an active watching platform? Well, a few things. First, it's hard to blend the two experiences together. As a viewer, it's great to be able to do less work and make fewer decisions when I want to be entertained, but once I'm in the Shorts feed, there's really no off-ramp to that. If I want to switch, I have to basically go back to the homepage and start back from square one, which is
sure, but the only reason that you're going to switch is if you want to consume a different type of content. Right? Like what YouTube is doing is they're just giving you two basically different apps on one. because it's going to happen anyway. If you want to consume, like this is how people's brains are working. If you want to consume the longer form stuff, okay, you're going to consume the long form stuff. If you don't want to consume the long form stuff, you're going to go back to a short form content. The idea is, if we have it available in our own app on our phone, you're less likely to change to a completely different application. So it still keeps them on the platform. Again, this is because of the success of TikTok. This isn't a brand new invention that they made. They said, holy fuck, TikTok is stealing tons of views. We want to get on that shit, boy, which is a benefit to the creators getting about 50% of the revenue.
It's just a really jarring, poorly designed experience. But okay, other than being a little clunky, why is this so bad? Well, the issue is that when we're in a passive watch experience, we're still watching content, but we're missing a lot of the things around that content. And those things are the secret sauce that's made YouTube so successful for the past decade. Let me illustrate what I mean by telling you a true story from over here at Team Theorist. We recently hired a social media producer to produce social media. It's pretty self-explanatory. Shout out to our various TikToks, by the way. They totally—
Did you talk to them before making this video?
slap, and they're only gonna get better from here. Anyway, in that process, we interviewed dozens of candidates, and everyone who made it to that round was asked to tell us a couple of accounts that they love on TikTok that we wouldn't have heard of before. The point is to gauge the awareness—
Did any of them say Papa Gut? I love that guy, because it would have gotten them instantaneously fired.
To the platform. It's a question that we've asked for years when it comes to YouTube, and everyone that we've hired on has always had great answers. It's how I first became aware of the web design commentary of Juxtaposed or the mayonnaise jello of Liam Thompson. Everyone has always had an answer. But when it comes to TikTok, a lot of the best interview candidates just couldn't do it. They could tell us everything that happened in individual videos, but
did you ask them, hey, why do you watch TikTok over YouTube?
they often had to really think in order to come up with the name of who made it. Kind of like some sort of bizarre digital amnesia. This happened over and over again in the interviews. And you know what? They're not alone. When we like TikToks, we tell people, I have to show you this TikTok. Or, have you seen that one TikTok where—
Yeah, and then you send them the TikTok internally, which is a system that YouTube doesn't seem to have, by the way. Is an internal system to share video content.
the guy does the thing? We're not trying to de-identify the people as creators. Instead, the way the platform works takes creators out of the equation. It doesn't really matter who made the TikTok. I didn't choose it. It was over pretty fast, and for better or worse, the platform pushed me on to the next video. If I truly wanted to see who made it, well, it's available. It's just teeny tiny over here, right down in the corner. We
I don't think it's that small, but okay.
know YouTube creators we love because we actively have to search.
It's much, the actual TikTok thing, it's much bigger than that. If you go to this guy's TikTok called GutTube, for instance. Let's see. So it's obviously much bigger than that. It's just like weird little thing. It's just like this weird cope from MatPat on like not wanting to change, like a fucking boomer. If you go on here, like, yes, the picture is small. You can see it over here, and then your name is also like over here. Like it's a little more available to you. If you like somebody, you can like them. I think the difference is because it's shorter form content, people are just less likely to, I guess, buy into the person as much. I guess that's the argument there. Okay, that's okay. Who cares?
Search for them. We
That's just how
actively
it's going.
choose them from the homepage or suggested feeds. Their logo appears in lots of different places. We subscribe to them. We don't just follow them. Heck, they even have their own channel page. And while that might—
if you're arguing that you can click on their actual channel and to subscribe to them, like, you could do the same fucking thing on TikTok too. Like, that's still two actions, and then your face is much bigger at the top on your TikTok. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know? I would argue that there is a more meaningful follow on YouTube. Of course it's more meaningful. Because on TikTok, you might find somebody and go like, oh, I like that, and follow the page. But would you like a 30-second video at most, 10-second video at most? And then you're like, ah, fuck this. Whereas for the buy-in for YouTube, it's like, oh, I watched this guy. He had like a 20-minute video. It was great. You're more likely to, after you subscribe, continue to re-engage. I agree with that point. But again, the framing of this entire thing is that like this is what YouTube wants to go towards, rather than like this is what YouTube has to go towards.
might seem like a meaningless word, it really is YouTube's secret sauce. The channel pages make YouTube into a glorified web host. Each creator is their own website, their own channel that you visit to watch videos. The banner is theirs.
By the way, I like Aldo a lot. I love Aldo. He's funny as hell, dude. There's one guy. Infrabren, there's another funny content creator.
thumbnails are theirs. The titles are all chosen to fit their personal brand. But as soon as someone else or an algorithm is doing that choosing for us, we're separated from all that information. It's not important anymore. So the problem with placing everyone in a shorts feed isn't just that now they're segregated on the platform, it's because it's removing the identity of the people who make.
If anything, that's just easier for the creator because the creator doesn't have to create a fucking thumbnail now. Like, okay.
The content. Historically, YouTube trends can spread over a huge number of creators, but the biggest creators in a trend tend to be memorable. 100 Layers Challenge, Simply Nailogical. Fidget Spinners, Collins Key. Elephant Toothpaste, Mark Rober. Unboxing Toys, Ryan's World. Giving away lots of money, Mr. Beast. TikTok trends, though, they're not based on creators, they're based on de-identified formats. Trending audios, meme templates, personal style hacks, recipes, weird clothing. Actually remembering creator names on TikTok takes an
Do you not have memes on your page, dude? That's weird. There's also another like positive aspect to like there's pros and cons to everything. Another positive thing to the short form content, and again, this is one of those things that like the long form content creators like MatPat will complain about because they don't benefit from this.
Incredible amount of
Shut up. It's the fact that there is so much content available that people at the bottom get promoted. Last time I looked at the statistics, 52 minutes was an average amount of watch time per day to engage with on TikTok, which is quite a bit considering we'll say I doubt the average is 15 seconds, but let's say the average is 15 seconds. You know, you're engaging like 200 videos a day. Okay. If you engage in 200 videos a day, let's say there's 10 content creators you really like and they release one video a day. Let's say they do. That's 2.5 minutes. So you have almost 50 minutes of content that you need to fill with that. That means that people that are at the bottom of the barrel have a higher chance of being visible in general. The nobodies at the bottom have a higher chance of being like, oh, who's this person? It gets them out there more. It actually gives an opportunity to the smaller guys to actually get themselves out there and potentially have a shot. This inorganic type growth, I guess you would call it. I don't think I would call it that. This over availability of short form content has the positive impact of getting a fucking nobody onto the platform. Even if it's one video, you have your shot. You have your shot of being known as a creator. Again, that's how I blew up. That doesn't happen on YouTube. When you're consuming for much more amount of time, let's say the average, I don't know what it is, but let's say the average view time on a YouTube video is like 20 minutes. You know, if you also engage on there for the same 50 minutes, you're watching 2 or 3 videos. So now, instead of being exposed to 2 or 3 content creators, you're exposed to potentially hundreds of content creators a day on TikTok. And again, there are pros and cons, but one of the pros is that you might fall upon to, what the hell was that sentence? You might fall onto a content creator you never thought you would have looked at because of that anonymity, because of that high availability. That's just there. It just exists. There's pros to it too. But somebody who's like established in the industry, they don't value the new creator experience. It's more of like, no, I want to maintain. And there's like their feeling of entitlement. I don't want to have to shift. But it's like, you have to shift, you know?
Thought and active watching, something that TikTok and YouTube Shorts, for that matter, are trying to discourage you from doing. And this actually makes a significant difference. In 2022, TikTok sponsored VidCon, one of the largest digital video industry events of the year where fans can have meet and greets with all their favorite creators. In years past, when the appearance
meet and beat off of my favorite creators
were coming from YouTubers, the lines were packed. But in this particular year, many of the lines were empty, despite the creators having hundreds of thousands to millions of followers on TikTok.
I remember the one to the left here. I covered a video on it. It's actually like the second biggest video on my platform.
Simply Nessa15 put it.
Did anybody else notice that so many influencers with over 500,000, over 1 million followers had empty lines at VidCon? TikTok
yeah, just to be clear, 500,000 is also not a lot. Because of that like high like density of people on the app and whatnot, and like the lower watch times, a like and a follow means significantly less. If you have 500,000 followers, that's like having 5,000 followers on YouTube. You need to get to like 10 million before you're like actually a fucking person on TikTok. That's just how that works.
Completely killed the concept of influencers. I feel like it's so easy to gain a following on here, but that doesn't actually mean that it's going to translate into like fandom, I guess.
And that right there is the big point in all of this. While YouTube is busy winning back the 13 to 18 demographic from TikTok right now, the trade-off of
as YouTube is trying to keep their platform alive, or rather trying not to become dead because they're not even close to that brink. That's the real framing. I understand that like this is not a negative move.
Those views could be steeper than anyone thinks. Remember what we talked about at the beginning of the episode about how those teen fandoms end up sticking with you for a long time? What happens when your platform doesn't foster those fandoms anymore? When you don't know who any of the creators are because you've never picked any of the videos that you're watching? When there's no channels with no communities around them? There's no people associated with the trends. It just becomes the scroll, the feed. Without fandoms and channel communities, YouTube can pull in all the viewers it wants, but it won't be making any new fans. In our
If that happens, again, that's just the way it's shifting. Thank you so much, Dylan L, for the 1 month small gut. Papa Gut. Is your wife, your wife's very pretty. She's single. Yeah. She's not my wife, brother. She's our wife. All right.
social producer interviews almost all the candidates said at one point or another, I'm a fan of TikTok, which sounds like a pretty normal thing to say, but think about that. Like, isn't it kind of weird? They're fans of the platform, not of any specific creator. When you talk about YouTube, it's relatively rare to hear someone say, I'm a fan of YouTube, you know, the website. That's probably how it should be. I love this platform. I've dedicated over a decade of my life to it, but I'm more a fan of the people who are on it. Right now, I'm a big fan of Max Fosh and Moist Critical. Steph is a fan of Caroline Winkler and the Dumb Dads. Real people doing real content that they deserve credit for. Being a fan of a platform on the
There are communities on TikTok. Like, let's not say that there's not, because there are. I'm not going to say they're as robust or they're as parasocial. That's definitely true. But again, that's just the way that things are going.
On the other hand, it's being a fan of a corporate entity.
And if you're somebody who really likes a person on TikTok, you'll go find their YouTube if that's what you want to look at.
Maybe at best a fan of an algorithm.
And
Going
you're
back
more
to
likely if you find them on a YouTube Shorts to go look at their full YouTube than if you're on TikTok.
Job candidates again, who have apparently now just become a bunch of unwitting test subjects. A huge proportion of them said unprompted, I'm a fan of TikTok, and it is super unhealthy. Or, I'm totally addicted to TikTok. It's definitely bad how much time I spend on there. Haha. Over here at Team Theorists, people who use TikTok are pretty open about the fact that they like the platform, but it's also less of a fandom and more of an addiction. Except again, notice the words that are being used. Being a fan of something and being addicted to something, they're not the same. The fact that we as people don't always—
Oh yeah, well I'm just a fan of heroin then.
seem to be able to tell the difference there, it's pretty unsettling, but that's neither here nor there. What this all shows is that in absence of having the ability to get you emotionally invested, platforms are having to use psychological hacks to make you dependent on them. We spent a
I guess. I mean, that's like advertising, no? Yeah, I guess.
whole video talking about addiction pathways and TikTok content a couple months ago. If you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out after this, where I basically talk about the way that your brain feels addicted to scrolling content and receives little boosts of dopamine every time you see a new TikTok. The problem comes though when we mistake being a fan of something for just being hooked on it. That's a lot to lay at the feet of YouTube when it comes to shorts, so it's only fair to acknowledge the boat that they're in. In order to stay relevant and continue growing the viewership of
Yes, this is a very primary part of it too.
YouTube over the years, there have to be more new people watching the platform. For its long-term survival, YouTube needs to win this battle against TikTok and earn back some of that 13 to 18 demographic. From a creative perspective, I'm rooting for them.
And again, they also have to make sure that they evolve enough so that TikTok doesn't evolve enough to take over the YouTube engagement part, like the longer and the medium form. Again, TikTok has implemented the medium form content. Additionally, though, you can upload multiple parts of your video. So like, let's say you did make a half an hour long video and you put it onto YouTube, or excuse me, you put it onto TikTok. Yeah, you can only put 10 minutes up, but you can make 3 10-minute long videos. Okay, people might buy into that. They might buy into the, oh, I saw the first one there, I'm going to watch that one. Then you can link your first and second one. I'm going to go watch the second one. I'm going to watch the third one. Or maybe the third one comes across your page and it's more interesting to you and you're like, oh, this is weird. And then you go back and you watch the first. If they don't do anything, if they don't engage in shorts, if they don't engage with the shorts, then they have the threat of being lost as the premier long-form content as well. So
also speculate that YouTube is trading off short-term gains for long-term loyalty.
No, yeah.
Sure, in the short term,
Sure,
shorts seems to be a great trading off traffic. From a creative perspective, I'm rooting for them, but I also speculate that YouTube is trading off short-term gains for long-term loyalty. Sure, in the short term, shorts seems to be a great idea for the platform.
What?
Using shorts, you directly attack TikTok's main format. You get the same music deals.
I agree, but also disagree. Hold on.
Mimic the functionality of the app. You even create a For You page that definitely reads as a little desperate, but hey, it probably works. You set all of that up, and suddenly you're bringing in new viewers. You start addicting them. You start training them to care less about individual creators. And you know
This is such a cope.
what? At first glance, that seems like a big ol' win for YouTube. Guess what creators do? They get canceled. They burn mattresses.
Okay, just to be clear. So when he makes this point of like, oh, trading short-term gains for long-term loyalty. That is what they're doing. They're trading the short-term, like, I guess they're gaining the long-term loyalty by getting people to come onto the platform, and the short-term gains of getting rid of the short-term gains is they're losing money probably on shorts in some capacity as they update the infrastructure, and they're constantly looking at their algorithm to make sure that it's competitive enough with TikTok. And again, they are paying their creators well. Very big deal. It's a very big deal as a creator. But okay.
Start addicting them. You start training them to care less about individual creators. And you know what? At first glance, that seems like a big ol' win for YouTube. Guess what?
That's not what they're doing.
Creators do. They get canceled. They burn mattresses in their yard. They make inappropriate statements, and then YouTube has to answer for all their problems to advertisers.
That's what happens now, no?
Creators also stop uploading. They burn out, they take breaks, and they always inevitably go out of style. But you know what doesn't burn out? The scroll. The passive feed never stops updating. No one cares if one of the creators they've been scrolling past gets in trouble or does something bad, because
you're incorrect. I've got banned off of TikTok like 2 or 3 years ago. People cared a lot. What are you talking
Frederick's
about?
super chatted $2. Watched Sarak's vid. Looked up his leaks.
Don't do that.
Traumatic.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
There's just another one behind them. Any problematic behavior gets erased because no one ever knew the creator's name in the first place. But
Then why would they get erased if nobody cared about them? The only reason you get canceled is if somebody actually cares about you, no? Like what?
the long-term picture is less rosy here. People don't develop fan relationships with a passive feed. They develop addictions to it. That doesn't bode all that well for
Bro, this is an actual fucking MatPat boomer moment.
the long-term
I understand being annoyed or complaining about it, but you're making it seem like YouTube has a choice. They don't.
health of TikTok and YouTube Shorts
This
for the
is just a
people
fucking
watching them
cult.
or for the people making them. In the end, no one ends up winning. YouTube's secret sauce when it comes to content has always been its direct creator-to-viewer relationship and the ability to form deep communities that grow overnight and can last for years. When the scrolling stops, what's
There are people on TikTok with communities too. Like you just have to be the kind of creator that can foster that. Like I said before, with the positive of showing more people, more different people on the platform, that also comes with the negative of like proportionately, the people who get as popular aren't necessarily going to be as interesting because you can get popular with like some 5-second bullshit. Like, yeah, there would be a harder chance of harboring a community on TikTok, but it still happens. Okay.
left are the channels and creators and shows that have made a difference in your life, who related to you in a way that was memorable, and who put you in the middle of a community of people where you felt like you belonged. Wherever you find that, or whatever platform that is, that's valid. And if you found it here, either this year, or last year, or 10 years ago, thank you. I cannot express to you just how important that's been to me, as a creator, as a viewer, as a friend. As always, my friends, remember, it's just a theory. A game theory! I'll see you in 2024.
Yeah, okay, so listen, first of all, I like MatPat's I don't know why I'm not subscribed. This is my alternative. Oh, this is my main YouTube now, so I'm subscribed to my other channel. That's where I watch my stuff. I like that. I watched the fucking, what did they call it? The Five Nights at Freddy's things, you know, even though I don't even like that game. It's too scary. I don't know why they made that game so goddamn scary. But to me, this just comes off as a content creator that is used to making short or long form content that's upset that they have to go into the long form, and they basically debate bro to video explaining why it's a terrible thing that YouTube is trying to maintain its relevance, which means that YouTube maintains its existence to pay creators. And again, they pay creators objectively better than any other platform. With all the flaws of YouTube, and the biggest is that you have to go to fucking Twitter to go ask YouTube for help because their own internal system is dog shit. They pay people better, and even the policies they implement, they generally try to move in a better direction. The fact that they've been working on shorts for the past year or so is very smart. And it is just another step of keeping YouTube relevant. You know? There's also something to keep in mind is that maybe people are shifting in different directions, and maybe they're shifting away from the MatPat type content. We're seeing podcasts have a very high explosion rate. People seem to want to have more of a parasocial relationship with their content creators, whether that's good or bad. I would say that like streamers like myself are part of that. people like to have, that's like almost a friend. We live in an age where people don't really have a lot of friends. People like streamers. The streaming has done a pretty good job of setting itself up to be on YouTube. So some of the views might be coming from that as well. Maybe they're not as likely to want to engage with like a very curated, almost television show that is like game theory. And maybe they want to engage with somebody who kind of just talks as like their friend. There's a lot more smaller creators that have the ability to maintain themselves. It's kind of that. But yeah, cool video.